So I've never seen a bed replacement before. This is the first of its kind, I imagine.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of companies doing different types of like flatbeds and stuff like that. Like there's a lot of Australian companies like. Well, you've got South African companies, Australian companies, a lot of folks overseas have been doing it forever, you know, so what I was trying to do though is kind of blend both of those worlds, and talking with Brent Bowen about a year ago, I had to fit the factory bed on here with the fiberglass bed sides on it, and we tested a lot of products on it, and the bed was just getting tired. It hadn't failed yet, but it was just getting really tired, and I wanted to incorporate storage in all the otherwise wasted space. And it was just an empty well underneath the bedside, you know, just air. So needing this space obviously to be a wheel well still, so the tire can cycle, I wanted to kind of fill all of the dead space with usable lockable storage and a stronger bed. You know, this whole bed is aluminum, and it's far stronger than the factory composite bed. So I used to stand all over the other bed and everything to reach up on the top, but I wanted to make a platform wide enough to stand on. You can stand on the fender, it's very strong. So, you know, and then the cabinetry, we used every bit of space we possibly could. So talking with Brent Bowen over at Bowen Customs about a design that he already had in place that we could work with, and we kind of put our brains together on some storage and kind of how to shape some of the boxes and make it real usable for even a 5-foot bed. So this is a 6-foot Tacoma bed. The 6-foot camper from AT. So kind of designing the prototype off of this is pretty much what you would see for the manufactured bed. The changes we made are just refinements on, you know, like the stairway that we made. We were going to manufacture that, but it just cost so many man hours to build. We've got a much simpler design now on how he changed the underside of the bed. We can incorporate the ladder to slide in underneath. With no moving parts. Awesome. So yeah, it just hides away. And then you just drop it down and support itself on the ground. So, you know, stuff like that. Some of the other options would be like the way we did the cabinets. This particular one is closed off right here. So it's just a cabinet enclosure from the inside. This one here passes through. So the base on the bed would just be a pass-through into the inside of the bed.
That's an awesome idea.
So people can kind of do what they want, you know, and we're trying to make selecting the options super simple and straightforward. So to get one of the TAV spec beds built by Bowen Customs would be certain things like the cabinet enclosure, the skid plates that we're putting into these. The box itself can handle an impact, but there's a seam here, you know, right in here, because these are separate pieces. And I wanted to, so if you drag this down over something, I wanted to cover that seam and protect our hinge right here. So this can still drop down, but the skid is the same height as the hinge. So if you slid down over something, you know, it protects the break in the box, but then it protects that seam, so you can just drag this right over something.
So this is like HDPE.
This particular material is UHMW, 3/8 UHMW, but we literally had to hand make this like a couple days ago just to get the concept across. Like the sizing of what we could order was smaller than what we could get. So this is going to be made of a little bit different material, but something easily replaceable. And so if you were to drag this thing across a rock, you're not going to see shiny aluminum underneath as a scratch. You're just going to see black plastic.
And it'll be cheaper to replace.
Much cheaper,
So if somebody didn't have these and you said this was a different section, if that did get damaged, is that a replacement?
It can be replaced,
That's awesome.
So it's, because it's all, Brent's got everything drawn up in CAD. This bed will be available for basically any truck with a bed on it. And it's built for that truck. Instead of it being a universal component, the bed is built for that specific truck for the way the frame's shaped. So I'm not exactly sure how he's going to do that, because he's got to have a truck to know where the frame is and everything. So we're trying to provide what we can to him to get, you know, fit the bed the way we need it. But he's been doing a really good job on getting a lot of those refinements taken care of. And then, you know, so some of we're still working on the options and the pricing of the options and how it's going to be. We want it to be somewhat modular for someone to just get the bed and do their own thing. A lot of people are craftsmen themselves, and they want to be able to do their own cabinetry or whatever it may be. So, but we can offer some things to kind of help along with other storage ideas. But this particular bed has every single thing in it that I had before with a stock bed, but I can just hide everything away. So Sunday we're heading Baja for a week. We will have every single thing in this that we're going to travel with, but you won't be able to see it. It's all in its own little home. And then as a daily driver, I can take it all out and it looks exactly the same. So It's
and with all the locking space, you don't have to worry about anything being on the outside.
Exactly. That was the idea.
Yeah, because we got back from Baja like a month ago, and that was my big thing. I've got an FJ Cruiser, and I've got so much stuff because I'm forced to have so much stuff outside. Every time I was like, it's not leaving my sight.
Right.
And it would be nice to be able to walk away and not worry about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and it's all key to like, so we basically have two key, just a couple keys. This is one key all the way around, and these are all just one key all the way around. So it's kind of makes it easy. You don't have a whole bundle of keys laying around.
And I saw that this is close to the stock fed weight. And I'm
very close, yeah.
Okay.
We haven't been able to weigh, like when you look at, because you have a tailgate, and a rear bumper and all that other stuff that's on this. And this is probably actually lighter. Because the spring rate that I have in this, that I built for the factory bed, and what we were carrying in this camper and all the other stuff that we carry was on the other bed.
Right.
When we took all of that off, and put this bed on, the spring rate actually, it didn't have as much sag to it. It was actually lighter.
Wow.
So, but obviously, as you add a component or an option or something like that, you're going to incrementally add some weight.
Right.
But the way the truck's balanced, with the spare being forward and low in the bed, and our house batteries is down in this compartment on the other side.
Right.
All that weight is forward of the axle. There's nothing hanging out off the back end. So the weight of the factory bumper is gone. The weight of the tailgate's gone, which the tailgate's fairly heavy just by itself.
Right.
So, and then the bed weight, you're removing all of that to add this. So it's about the same weight. It's marginally heavier, if anything.
Man, that is so cool.
And tremendously stronger, ridiculously stronger.
Can I see inside this compartment?
Yeah, for sure. This is just,
that's the one you have the battery in on the other side?
On the other side, yeah, I'll show you that in a second. This is just some of my quick to get to recovery gear, soft shackles, all the small stuff. I'm just having a bag. The bigger stuff like straps and stuff stays in my case on the roof. And then I don't even have enough stuff to really put in this. I don't carry a whole lot of stuff, like just hand tools and stuff, or boxer tools, hammers, paper towels, just stuff that you need for whatever. Can you just lay right in here?
Yeah, like my first thought is like camp shower or something. You have all that out here with the hose.
I've got a camp shower right here. Then on the other side, the water tank's on the inside.
Right.
I'll go ahead and show you that now. And then we can kind of come back to the center section here. So this is the other one that we did the optional enclosure. Man. So we don't normally carry a bunch of stuff. Like we were installing stuff here in the booth, so I've got all my Milwaukee power tools, like the battery tools here, 2 bags of tools, all of our air hoses, solar panel. But this enclosure gives us a floor to mount the Oasis compressor to. So, and that, I'll talk about that in just a second.
Okay. But
the battery, the house battery, is right below this, right here, 150 amp hour, full river battery, part of the full throttle family there. Our red arc is mounted right here, fuse block, all the fusing is right here, and then solar comes in right here.
Oh, cool.
So just have a little flush mount,
sweet,
plug right here for solar. Charge controller takes care of that. This is the 3rd battery on the truck. We have 2 up front under the engine compartment, but it's a well style cabinet, so it's deep. So we can fit this down in here, have plenty of room for everything. Just that's its home. This, we didn't have time to do it before the show, but a Propex heater is going to be mounted inside this.
Cool.
And it'll be vented into one of the side supports into the camper that way, because the battery power and then the propane will just. We have a fiberglass propane tank that with handles on it. We just lift it out and we set that outside anyway, because I like to cook outside. So it opens up your living room in the camper. So that'll sit here. The shower cube opens up. The shower hangs from the inside of this. That deck right there lifts out, and that can be your shower floor.
That's awesome.
All the C deck here is for boats, and it's designed to be wet.
So is that for your custom truck, or is that going to be an option?
It may be an option. We're going to run with it and see how we like it. I like to keep my spare in the bed.
Right.
I used to have it standing up, which is also an option. Just have it standing up, and it's a 37-inch tire in a Tacoma. So, but we've camped with that tire in this thing for years, and with it standing up, it's not in the way.
Yeah.
But with it laying down with that deck above it, actually gives us more usable storage, because we've got the water tank tied down, the little porta potty. The bins up top just stack right in between those, and then when we get to camp, we just put the few things in place, and that's our living room.
Man, this is super cool. So as far as the dimensions go, are the dimensions per the truck that it'll be built for, is it the same? So, or do you need to plan ahead, like if you're gonna have an AT Overland, you need to let you guys know about that?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Because of the way we designed the bed basically around the AT because I have one, right? So, but we wanted this to be what a stock bed height would be for the overhang. So when we measured where this overhung the rack right here is the same as what it was with the stock bed height.
Okay.
So the bed height was important, but the width we wanted to exaggerate a little bit because the bed sides I had
was really nice.
Stock width here, but it came out really far and then it curved back in. Well, we wanted to bring it out some and just make it straight all the way down so you could stand on it. It's still a workable surface. So, but we didn't want to have it so much wider than the cab. So the widest part of the cab here, it's like an inch wider than the widest part of the cab. So aesthetically it looks clean this way, but with this being a flat-sided thing and this being curved, we tapered the top edge here for strength. Yeah. But it kind of helps follow the body lines of this line here on the truck. Right. So instead of it being just a sharp corner, it blends a little bit easier. Going from everything being curved, there isn't a single flat thing on this cab, to a completely flat thing here. We tried to blend that just a little bit, but it introduces a lot of strength and usable surface area on the bed. Yeah. Which also affords us the ability to run many different kinds of canopies, campers. The production model is going to be designed to work with a canopy camper from Alucab. Okay, cool. Because we've been working with Alucab since day one in the US. Okay. So, but we want to be able to work with the canopy camper in the rear entry. That's what I was going to ask next. To use the standard canopy camper in its width, but we don't have to use the fit kit for the sides. So because the width, I believe they're all the same width for the door. But if you don't have a bumper and everything back there, we could just put it right on top of this, and the sides are straighter, more vertical on the canopy camper, and the lines will blend well with the bed. Okay. So we work with a lot of different canopies and canopy campers and AT different. We have several ATs in our company trucks, company vehicles. So anybody that already has their camper, we wanted to be able to, if they needed a bed or damaged their bed or whatever, they just want more storage and a stronger unit, we can use what they already have as a camper and just replace the bed and incorporate everything they've already got into that bed. Okay. So if they already have a canopy camper, we want to be able to install that doorway and everything without having to modify their existing camper to this bed. Okay. That was the plan. Man, these things are awesome. Thank you. How much? These are going to be around 25, I imagine? No, this one starts baseline, like as you see it, baseline is about 17 on the website right now. That's actually way more reasonable than I expected. Yeah, I mean it's very labor intensive to build. Made in Colorado. Brent makes them right there in Colorado near Denver. Yeah, we're up by Carbondale. Oh, right on. Yeah. So we're in Albuquerque, so I can shoot up there and pick up several of them, bring them back, and do installs and stuff like that. So it's not hard for us to shoot up the road a little bit and pick them up. Right on. But yeah, we wanted to try to keep it in the U.S. and continue to build and support U.S. companies. And Brent and I hit it off really good, and we've been having a lot of fun kind of developing this and kind of brainstorming together on it, and get to go out and bang it up and test it. And, man, I bet it's use fun. It is. It can be. You don't want to be. If you have something fail on it, we want to be able to use it. But yeah, I mean, if something breaks, that's all part of the testing and stuff. I don't really foresee anything happening to it because we've already made the subtle changes that we want to make without even using it first. It's more of a manufacturing standpoint. Right. But what you see is what will probably be coming out. Okay. So, and this thing is really cool. There's so much more. Like you get because with our low payload trucks in the United States, it's one of the things. We were talking on the way over here. I was like, I don't know if I want a mid-size or a full size. With full size, you get too big. But like, just because you can carry more and do more, and if this is like, close enough for the bed weight, just having this extra storage for little things. Because we're the same way we cook outside. Yeah. And so if you're cooking at the back or something, just having even your like a little bar here or something like that, little things like that add up. Yeah. Because we owned a Conqueror camper for a while, and it was great, but it was a hassle. Yeah. And this is like the kind of thing that I'm looking to build. Yeah, we wanted to make it to where, like, if we have a compartment here, we will have some options for it, but so many people are so creative with a use of space, and everybody wants to have something and that you kind of do their own thing with. Right. So we wanted to be able to make it a buildable component too. Yeah. So like with this cabinet here, you can see like this fridge fits. This is the CFX 345 liter fridge, fits perfect right in that space width-wise, and they're in there now, but I can show you guys kind of how it all fits together. So this is one of the pass-through drawers or cabinets. So this is an awning, a Nemo awning for the AT, and it just stores right in here. And if you get a shot in here, you can see that behind this wall is all storage. On the other side, I have 3 Helinox camp chairs and a Helinox camp table all stuffed inside that one little compartment. And then this is the side of the fridge, so you could keep an awning, camp chairs, whatever here.
That's so cool.
Or cooking utensils or whatever, utensil rolls or whatever you want to right here. Keep it all kind of out of the way in its own little space, you know, and locked up and secured.
As far as finish options, this is custom painted.
This is vinyl wrapped to match the truck, but they will come standard powder coated. The whole thing would be powder coated black.
Okay.
Because when all of these components go together,
right,
you don't want to be able to see like aluminum through the outside. You know,
right.
So if we powder coat the entire thing and it all goes together, all of the hidden seams that will catch your eye will all be the same color in black. So you could essentially paint it to match after that, paint the truck to match, or paint the bed to match the truck, or vinyl wrap it, whatever you want. But it will be base model will be powder coated black, the whole thing.
Man, I don't know if I'm gonna go live without one of these, Natalia. This is super cool. This is one of the things I was looking forward to seeing at this, because I've seen them online. You're at Albuquerque.
Yep.
I might have been talking to you recently on Instagram or something when the Alucab prices were going up. But yeah, man, this is one of the coolest things I've seen for sure.
Appreciate it.
So so that's part of having that as a sectioned off box.
Yep, so for what you were seeing on the outside, that Line-X piece, that is the top outside of that enclosure. So that's what you would see as an enclosure. This right here is what it looks like as a pass-through.
Okay.
So it's just an open shelf.
So are those welded on, or can those be added later or taken out later? If you decide?
The option, yeah, the manufactured bed will probably have that as a bolt-on piece.
Okay, cool. So you can change it up, or in the future, you sold it, somebody else wanted to redo it.
That's the plan, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we don't know. Brent and I were talking about. We don't know if he's going to make that component. I'm talking to somebody else we work with on building all of our options for this.
Right.
It's all that part is still to be determined, because we don't know what pricing is going to be on those yet, depending on who has to make it. But the concept and the plan is there, you know. So, and then like the platform that you can see there, you can see the tire underneath it. We usually have a 5-gallon front runner can that sits right here, and our propane sits there, and it all just comes out and goes on the ground anyway. So, but the spare is not as hard to get out as you might think. Everything goes in its place when we get to camp anyway, and it's all very easily removable. That platform is locked into place, but you can lift it out and just lean it up against something or take it outside. The tire just stands up and rolls right out the back.
Cool.
So you're not laying on your back trying to get a tire out from under the truck. You're not negotiating swing out tire carriers or anything like that. It's all sitting right there. That weight is down low and forward of the axle, so it balances the truck extremely well.
Right.
And it's, you know, we put this in here for people to walk in here and not make it too messy before we roll out. But it's just the, you know, this sea deck is like a boat.
Oh, okay, cool.
Deck.
So it does have a little bit of insulation.
Yeah, it's soft, and it's, you know, it's designed to be wet, so you could take that platform out, like I was saying over there before. Have a nice big floor to take a shower on, in the shower cube, whatever, you know.
Man, you guys did a good job with this.
Thank you.
Yeah, these are gonna sell like crazy, especially at the price. Like, I mean, I know prices might vary.
Yeah,
so anybody watching this,
it's all gonna fluctuate. Yeah. I mean, when you look at price of aluminum sheet and then the components, like a hinge, you know, like people have no idea how hard it is to find a stinking hinge, you know, and stuff that's made in the U.S. You know, so it's, once it all goes together, and then the man hours it takes to put something together, like that's why we're not doing the ladder the way it is.
Right.
We intended to, so I wanted to get a linear slide to just make everything incorporated.
Oh man, that's cool.
So it just closes and is out of the way, right? So if you, when you get to camp, you just can make it as easy as possible. So the hitch, we probably will be producing the hitch this way.
Right.
We'll get to that in just a second, but the ladder is already going to be already redesigned. So Brent kind of changed the way he's doing the underside of the bed, which is laser cut and press broke and stuff like that. So we can actually stash the ladder underneath the bed with no moving parts, slide it out, set it on the ground, and it's there. This costs a lot of man hours to build, and componentry. So he made all of the steps and everything, you know, by hand. So he made all this whole thing. I sent him the slides, and they made this whole thing right there in house. And then we had to make the little stop for the receiver. We cut a hitch off, and Josh, my brother, made the stop for it. So there's no cables or anything in the way. And it's super strong. It's going to work good for this bed, but the production bed may have like a swing out type thing, but if we incorporate the Alucab, it won't need a swing out or a drop down.
So
it'll be its own door.
Yeah, so you're even getting rid of a little more weight on that model.
Correct.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
And then this, you said this will just be
it's
a bit wider.
Yeah, it's going to be a little wider, this particular spot here, but you can kind of see the thickness of it. Wanted this to be a structural piece.
Right.
Like the factory bed, any truck bed factory is unsupported at the top on the corner. It's not designed really to have a load to it.
Right.
There's companies like Total Chaos and stuff that make a bed support, which work really well. But over time, like something like this that's actually being used off-road has, you know, lateral movement to it and different stressors can make the bed itself pull apart.
Right.
Like it'll hold the internal portion of the bed, but the bed sides can come apart.
Right.
And when I started to kind of see that over several years of just testing this truck on in different places, it started to do that, and I was like, yeah, the bed's just still starting to get a little bit more flexible than I want it to. So now you can imagine how rigid this thing is.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, connected to the frame and just supporting the load of this. But with this being a box, there's a tremendous amount of strength right here.
And so for like the Alucabs, because there's so many people running, and I would be too, propane and like a water spigot. So you guys do sell Alucab as well.
Yep.
So if somebody bought one of these, you could drill those before powder coating, assuming?
We would just do it after powder coating.
Okay.
I mean, it's aluminum, so it's not going to rust.
Oh, right.
But anything we drill through, if there's a hole or something, we try to close it up, and we'll use like edge trim or something. We want it to look very OEM, very, very clean. Like you won't have a rough cut hole or anything like that. It's going to be very, very clean.
Okay.
So yeah, we build the truck from the ground up. Like if you want we'll hard mount propane and plumb it in. Every fitting will work. There's like no kit,
right,
a lot of times for what we'll be doing. So we did a 5010 camper not too long ago, and we hard mounted the tank outside and ran a pressure gauge inside or a volume gauge inside too for how much propane was left, and it was hard mounted all the way in, plumbed in, copper tubing, everything, water plumbing, electrical. We build all of our own wiring harnesses from the terminal end where it's connected to each end all the way down, and everything is heat shrunk, soldered, labeled, everything.
Right
so
on.
it's we want it to be as easy as possible to fix if something were to blow a fuse or whatever it may be. So
man, this is awesome. You guys did a good job with this.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Brent killed it. I'm super happy to be working with him on this. He did such a killer job.
Yeah.
So we're happy with how it's turning out so far, and anxious to get out and start using it.
And then you were going to talk about the sliding ladder.
So yeah, you can kind of probably get a little better idea of what it's going to look like.
Just for anybody watching this.
This would look the same, more than likely.
Okay.
But you can see there's a beveled edge here, and then so there's a break here, and then there's another break that makes it go flat.
Right.
So the ladder would slide out from this area, just straight out and drop to the ground.
Okay.
So it's gonna be hidden away. You won't see it. This is so the frame rails are the factory length. We didn't want to modify the frame rails too much because you've got the shackle hangers and stuff on there. This location.
Yeah.
These bolts are the factory hitch bolts and holes on the frame. So we used a 4Runner receiver hitch because it just wraps around a tube on the 4Runner anyway. So we ordered a heavy wall square 4x4 square piece of tubing. Then we've got some steel plate, and we tapered the edges, welded it all the way around, welded in our recovery points, and powder coated the entire thing. So it's far stronger than the factory hitch ever was, and it creates a cross member in there this is probably 6 inches through the top, and all of our wiring is hidden in behind this. So we've got our backup cameras, license plate lights, harnesses for our rear light, everything is kind of just hidden in behind this. And this little step just kind of pulls out and goes in there, but that's just for this truck.
Right.
So.
And then, but you said that the new ladder will be a sliding type of ladder?
Yeah, but it'll be up under the floor.
Oh,
yeah, it'll
okay,
just slide straight out, and it'll lock and it'll just stop.
Yeah.
And then it'll just drop to the ground.
Cool. And so with this ladder right now, that's how you're rolling that tire out of there? You kind of roll it on the step?
I just drop it out.
Okay, right. Yeah. Just let her bounce?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can just roll it right up it too. So if you, instead of picking up a tire, you can just put it against it and just roll it right up.
Cool.
And same thing for this. It'll actually be easier to do this one because it'll touch the ground.
Right.
So you just roll it right on up and into place.
I'm already sure this is my favorite thing at this show. This is awesome.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. All right, thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Can I get a card from you too?
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm buying a new truck this fall, and
right on.
looking to do some ridiculous shit with it.
There you go, man.
Thank you, sir.
We're about to start building a couple of the brand new Tundras. We got some of the 22s for a client. We're going to run this bed, and I want to model the Alucab onto that bed.
Okay.
That will help us develop all of the dimensions that we'll need for it.
Okay.
So.
And these are already for sale?
Yeah, we're taking orders for them right now. Like Brent's already got the changes made in CAD.
Okay.
So we're immediately taking orders. Matt got our website all set up, and it gives everybody instructions on how it'll all work.
Cool.
And so we can put the orders in with Brent, and we'll just hit the ground from there.
Okay, so it's got to be at least a 6-month lead time, I would assume?
I think it's about 6 months or so.
Okay.
That's up to Brent on getting the materials in. Depends on how many orders come in, because he can order the material in bulk.
Right.
And that will kind of help us figure out lead time wise.
Cool, man. All right, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
This is awesome.
Heck
All
yeah,
right,
man.
Have a
Thanks,
nice day.
guys.
Yeah,
Take it easy.
As always, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and feel free to check out my other adventure, off-road, and overland related content.